For the Democratic National Convention, and at this hour, a lot of senators are appearing down there. Senators mostly running for election or re-election in their home states. They get a few moments before this convention hall. But tonight, bigger stakes. Mike Dukakis' nomination, tomorrow night his acceptance speech, and John, they're real eager in his campaign to define him just right before this television audience.
Manager Mike, would you go for that?
I think maybe.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, when Michael Dukakis was thinking of picking John Glenn as his running mate, a reporter said Glenn had a reputation as a dull and boring campaigner. Dukakis said, dull and boring? I kind of like that. Dull and boring isn't much of a rallying cry, but it's a way of looking at the way Governor Dukakis is running this convention and the way he'll run his campaign. The Dukakis people realized in April that he was likely to win the nomination. They looked at their research, and it showed that Democrats this year want party unity and the ability of a candidate to be a good manager. And what do we have in Atlanta? Unity and good management. After a shaky start with Jesse Jackson, this is a unified convention. Dukakis did it without giving too much away to Jackson. There were concessions to Jackson on party rules and the seating of various delegates, and for the first time in about a quarter of a century, there were no fights on those ancient party battlegrounds. The platform is the shortest since the Roosevelt era, and there were no serious fights about it. All of this was done by Dukakis in a low-key, steady manner. He has managed this convention without the appearance of guile or bombast. So don't knock dull and boring. It's got him this far, Tom.
Thanks, John. We'll see you later this evening, of course, when we resume our coverage of this convention. By the way, this was a big day for Kitty Dukakis. She was honored by the Democratic National Committee, and it turned out to be the perfect opportunity for her husband, the governor, a committed non-smoker, to disclose a thing or two about the prospective First Lady.
I was down in North Carolina not too long ago, and somebody came up to me and said, you know, I'm going to be with you, North Carolina. I said, I'm delighted. How come? She said, your wife smokes. Well, I don't have to tell you what kind of a First Lady she's going to be. A non-smoking First Lady. That's what she's going to be.
It's an old crusade between the two of them. Earlier today, Mrs. Dukakis talked about her former addiction, telling a group of children that she couldn't stop using amphetamines. Now that she's off the drugs, Mrs. Dukakis said, life is much sweeter. Her advice, don't start. Back now in Atlanta, and that convention hall is just now settling back to earth after last night. When Jesse Jackson spoke here last night, he lit up the hall with a speech of passion and hope and personal testimony. Never mind that he had delivered many of the same passages before. It was a powerful message, powerfully delivered. And as he came on, the television ratings went up. NBC's Tom Pettit on Jesse Jackson's night and his message.
The next president of the United States, our dad, Jesse Jackson.
It was almost as if Jesse Jackson were about to accept the nomination and enter into the political promised land. Instead, with customary cadences of the Black Baptist Church, he gave his campaign speech. Many delegates had not heard it before in its entirety.
Reagan gave the rich and the powerful a multi-billion-dollar party. Now the party is over. He expects the people to pay for the damage. I take this principal position, convention, let us not raise taxes on the poor and the middle class, but those who had the party, the rich and the powerful, must pay for the party.
Jackson won 7 million votes with his same speech, given in every part of the country, but not to the whole country until now. From California to Chicago to the New York Islands, people were talking today.
It was a spectacular speech. I really was moved to tears. It was incredible.
He talked about things that people wanted to hear, and then he also talked about things that people didn't want to hear.
If Jesse can come from nowhere and be somebody, I can be somebody too.
It was Jackson's convention, if only for an hour.
Those of you who are watching this broadcast tonight in the projects, on the corners, I understand. Call you outcast, low down, you can't make it. You're nothing, you're from nobody. Subclass, underclass. When you see Jesse Jackson, When my name goes in nomination, your name goes in nomination. I was born in the slum, but the slum was not born in me. And it wasn't born in you, and you can make it. Wherever you are tonight, you can make it. Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it. It gets dark sometimes, but the morning comes. Don't you surrender. Suffering breeds character. Character breeds faith. In the end, faith will not disappoint. You must not surrender. You may or may not get there, but just know that you're qualified, and you hold on and hold out. We must never surrender. America will get better and better. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
For spacious skies, for amber wings of grain.
Jesse Jackson had said he intended the speech to be more inspirational than political. He got that right. Tom Pettit, NBC News, Atlanta.
That's Nightly News. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll be back tonight at 9 Eastern Time as we continue our coverage of this convention tonight. The nominations of Michael Dukakis and Jesse Jackson for president and the roll call of the states. Always a lot of fun. I'll see you then.